Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily, Monday Motivation. Des here, checking in for the first time this week. Looking forward to cracking on with a brand new one, pushing forward, and of course doing it with all the positivity and enthusiasm I talk about. DOdaily is about encouraging participation, bits of activity here and there, and for us to really stay on top of our mental health. Do the things we need to do, the things we enjoy, just to be the best versions of ourselves, to be happy and content, and just to be at ease and not at odds with anything. This week, the weekend gone has been great. But lots of time spent at the cricket. Anybody that watched Wake Up to Walk will know. The end of last week, I was feeling a little bit under the weather, really sort of come down with something as the week went on. After a really strong week, kicking in my diet and my training for the London Marathon in October. Didn't quite finish the way I planned, but I was still feeling really happy and looking forward to spending lots of time at Trent Bridge watching the cricket. Rather bizarrely, that's still not finished. Been there for the 3 of the last 4 days, and I'll be there for a little bit tomorrow as well. The game has reached the 5th day, so that's a nice thing I've done. The reality is, it means I've got plenty of other things to do, plenty to crack on with. But for now, it's just been about just getting myself together, starting to feel a little bit better, a lot of fresh air, a lot of sun on my face, got a bit of a suntan, that's always nice. And going into the new week, just a reminder that I've got to get back to where I was this time last week. It made me feel great after all the excitement of Forest and the wave of enthusiasm with that. I got carried away like everybody else, that's great. But there comes a point where you have to knuckle down again, crack on. And last week, I really started to do that. But like anything in life, something always creeps out the woodwork and bites us on the bum. And it was just that illness, I guess, trying so hard with my diet, trying so hard with my exercise. My immune system was a little bit all over the place. And it just got this sort of little bit of flu-type symptoms that made me feel a little bit run down. Thankfully, everything I did at the weekend, understanding that it was only ever going to be temporary, not beating myself up about it, not getting too down, enjoying what I was doing, realising that I can get back to that, I can get back to what I need to. The cricket was always going to be there. The cricket was always going to be a little bit of a distraction from my training, from the plan, from being particularly healthy, just by the very nature of it. But when you accept little things like that, it just becomes that little bit easier. When those hiccups come along, the illness, and it almost, I just thought, I've got to reset again this week, and Monday's the perfect opportunity to do that, isn't it? Monday's the time to look forward, to think how we can make it that little bit better, put that structure back in. And again, whilst there's still lots of cricket I'm trying to force in now because these are unplanned sessions, it's still nice to be able to do it and everything I'm doing. It makes for a busy time. Apologies for being a little bit late tonight. I thought I'd come on live again. I did this last Monday and I really enjoyed doing it. Again, getting out of my comfort zone. I've got no script here, nothing in particular to say. It's just my honest and relatable take on how things are going. But I've been on another YouTube channel talking about football, as I always am. And that kind of went on a little bit. Not managed to get out and do daily before that. But again, there's no reason to beat myself up with this, is there? People who do appreciate it will understand that it is all about my realistic approach to life and how I don't let small things get to me. And I think that's the one thing I really sort of want to talk about today, is just how we can not let those small things get to us, how we can just maintain a bit of positivity, maintain lots of enthusiasm. I talk about these things all the time, but it's great periodically just to check in, and just to remind people that we can be resilient when things get in the way. I feel if I'd have let that illness get to me, for example, and I'd not done the cricket, it would have lingered on, and then all my motivation from the training would have dropped. But by being sort of determined and wanting to get through it as quickly as possible by keeping my plans intact. I had to readjust things slightly. It made me tired. It made me sort of not feel fantastic. But by sort of maintaining what I was going to do, by being out in the fresh air, by looking for the positives, keeping up some positive energy, still getting out for my walk on Friday morning, not done the activity I always look to encourage over the weekend and the things I do to sort of get people involved. But by keeping my sort of positive mindset and feeling good about everything I had done, and that's what I did. More than anything, I used the fact that I'd done plenty early in the week, almost banked it, wanted to put more in the bank, wanted to save some more. But the reality was that I'd banked it and I felt content enough to sort of just deal with what was in front of me. It was just great taking some pace off, taking some time, knowing I'd done enough, and like I say, just realizing it was a temporary thing. Illness is a great way sometimes to measure life. I said this on Friday, but unless it's serious, we come through it, don't we? It just proves that a lot of the time we come through it. When it's a common cold or a bit of this or that, we tend to come through it and pretty much unscathed. And it's like anything, whatever's sort of thrown at us, it will be easy sometimes just to get sort of fed up and upset, when things aren't quite working out. But what I'm trying to do here every Monday is give everybody that opportunity to realise that no matter where we're at, it's a great start to the week. It's a great way to go again, to attack what's coming. And believe me, there's other things. There's other less trivial things even. There's more trivial things that get to me. But what I've learned over the last few years is just to sort of just to live in the short term, live for whatever's next. Of course, when it comes to training plans for marathons, plans for weddings, trying to lose weight, there's an end goal. There's something to target and look at long term, and you have to put a lot of dedication and determination into that, and you have to be strict and keep to routine and the plans and dig deep when it's not so good. And to some degree, that's what I was doing at the weekend. I was just digging deep, just showing that bit of resilience, not to be dragged down with it. We all know if we let things get on top of us and we start feeling sorry for ourselves, we just end up feeling worse. So what I was doing, like Friday, I was jumping up, getting out of bed, keeping to my plans, feeling fresh about myself, getting in plenty of fresh air, plenty of walking, plenty of I did some coaching yesterday in the morning. I felt absolutely awful, but again, if I'd not done that, I'd have felt even worse. It's something that I do for other people. I do as a little bit of an earner, and these things all sort of add up to the bigger picture of making life tick over. And that's all we're doing every week, is just ticking over from one day to another. I understand now that time doesn't need to be exhilarating, because if it is, it just becomes boring and we become complacent anyway. When you sort of make the most of the little things, the enjoyments, sat back in a seat watching cricket. The cricket match wasn't even great, it was just nice and enjoyable and a relaxed environment to take in the fresh air, the sun, my surroundings, chat to friends, speak to different people. And then I come through it thinking, what a weekend that was. How many times have I spent that much time at the cricket all in one go? And when you sort of take that kind of enjoyment and that positivity from it, all of a sudden I forgot about being ill. I'm determined to get cracking again. And on a Monday, I always say it's as good a time as any to sort of remind myself of that. Hopefully remind you guys that we can push on. I try and use my different motivations, the ones I've created through DOdaily, Monday motivation, Tuesday training. Tomorrow I'll be looking to get out there, just do some sort of more strenuous activity. Tomorrow will be great because it'll be me properly getting back into it. It'll feel like, right, that's completely gone, back into the training, eyes on the end goal, working hard, every bit by bit starts getting that little bit, not easier, but a little bit more comfortable, I guess, in the fact that you're getting there. and of course trying to work at some of my goals in terms of weight and things like that. Wednesday, of course, it's Wednesday workout. It's a chance to sort of do even more activity. I always check in again, with how I'm feeling, because it's that period in the week where everything can almost come at us before we start almost winding down for the weekend. I never wind down for the weekend. I always go into it with lots planned, lots to do, just like last. But conformity, the way life is sometimes, tells us that the weekend's just a bit more enjoyable, isn't it? We can do things we enjoy, we can do things we want to do, and that's kind of what I do Thursday thoughts. I almost try and evaluate everything, get people's opinion on how things are going, what they want me to talk about, create some interaction, because all these things are important. All these things are important just to keep us ticking over. That's why I create these motivations. And finally, wake up to walk on a Friday. I get up, get out early, really, really early. Feel like I've achieved something. Just getting up at 5:30 in the morning makes me feel like I'm winning at the day. Currently, sort of following this trail path around Nottingham, 60 miles, clock walk it's called. I'll be back to that. I've not done it for a couple of weeks because of not feeling great last week, but looking forward to getting back to that. And again, something just to give me that little bit of sense of achievement when things aren't happening on the grand scale that they were a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, like they're going to at the other end of the scale in a couple of months' time. The wedding, the marathon, all the other big events in the meantime, the return of the football. It's just a chance for me just to take it all in. Just calm myself down a little bit, get myself in tip-top form, focus a little bit on me. Of course, doing all the running groups I do, doing a lot of the things I do, I kind of worry about other people and looking after them and trying to encourage them to be better. But when I'm doing that, I have to think of me as well. We all have to put ourselves first to be in the best possible position, the best possible frame of mind to help others. And that's what it's about. It's just about a bit of light encouragement. Anybody that's new to the channel, I've had a few new subscribers. Anybody that's new to the channel, it's just me being honest every day about where I'm at. Sometimes I get really, really deep. It might seem uncomfortable, but it's never uncomfortable to anyone watching. I'm just using examples of where I feel a little bit crap, examples from the past of what's made me want to do this. I've got this real sort of ambition to help people with mental health, but not in the contrived and this, I say structured, but sort of all the scientific and technical way that people want to put this across. I just want to encourage people to understand things in their own way and see somebody who's dealing with it every day. I don't suffer too badly with mental health, but been in a position where I've struggled, and all I want to do here is be honest and relatable, encourage a little bit of activity, encourage people to do things that just might help. I talk about waking up early. I'm the worst at it. I'll explain all my faults, all the things I get wrong, but on a Friday, I managed to crack it. I wish I could crack it at other times. I talk about diets. It don't work. I go out and have a drink. It does work sometimes. And when I get into it, it's brilliant. I can be that example. I can show people. But on the other hand, what I can also show people is that it's not easy. We all see things on the internet where you got to go and do this, you got to go and do that, and there's no emotion in it. And we all get sort of taken in by it for a few days, a few weeks, and then before we know it, we're back to square one. It's a long, long journey, but we can break it down, like I said before, into little short parts, which just keep us ticking along. Been feeling great for a long, long time now, without much happening in the last few weeks. Lots has happened in the last few years in my life, which have made me feel like I'm at ease with myself. And if anyone who's struggling can get to that point, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help them understand that this is a place where they can just check in and see somebody who's being realistic, who enjoys the things they do. I get so much from doing YouTube. I get so much more than just doing DOdaily, And when you start sort of putting yourself out there, putting yourself first, but also thinking of ways you can do it better, you've got every chance. And that's all I'm doing. hopefully you understand. Once again, so much sort of kudos to those who've subscribed. It's really starting to creep up now. I'm just working at what I'm doing day by day, bit by bit, trying to be that little bit better, trying to get better at what I put out here as well. There's different sort of aspects to what I do. So please check out any of the stuff I've done before. There's stuff about running, walking. There's bits and bobs about football. I try not to talk about it too much. It's my big passion in life. But of course, it creeps in because it's important as well. And of course, for today, please give a thumbs up to this episode. Hope you've enjoyed what I'm doing. Check out tomorrow, Tuesday training. I'll be out there. I think the weather's going to be warm, so I'll be out there doing what I've got to do to give it a real go. Until then, guys, have a great evening. Just doing it.